away. So hope everyone is fine, hope everyone is healthy, hope everyone is at home. मजबूरी भी है आपको की. अच्छा, I'm going to mute now everybody. ये कौन बच्चा है उसको मैं म्यूट करना पड़ेगा. So we start our class for today. In the last class we discussed group influences, और ग्रुप इन्फ्लुएंसेस में मैंने आप लोगों को एक वीडियो भेजा था जिसमें हमने डिस्कस किया था कि व्हाट आर द डिग्रीज ऑफ इन्फ्लुएंस. तो उस वीडियो को आई होप कि आप लोगों ने देख लिया होगा, और अगर नहीं देखा तो देख लें क्योंकि ये लेक्चर उसके आगे से शुरू हो रहा है. अच्छा, उस लेक्चर में ये डिस्कस हुआ था कि ग्रुप क्या होता है, ग्रुप विजन क्या होता है, ग्रुप के बनने से मार्केटर्स को क्या फायदा है, ग्रुप वो कैसे बनते हैं, व्हाट आर असाइंड ग्रुप्स, व्हाट आर फॉर्मल इनफॉर्मल ग्रुप, व्हाट आर एस्पिरेशनल रेफरेंस ग्रुप, और व्हाट आर dissociative reference group, what are the degrees of influence on group influence. All of these things were discussed in there. Then the next topic in the group influence is this. So now I'm going to shift my language to English because we want this to be on YouTube, and if anybody wants to see it on YouTube, they can as well. So I'm going to switch my language to English from now on. We discussed how much a group is influenced. The first one was the informative influence, which means the group is referred only when an information is required by an individual. Or the group has a normative influence, which means that the group has an influence in the norms of a person, what he or she does throughout the day, what they wear, what they eat, and so on. And the highest degree of influence is when we identify with the group, we become one with the group. Our identity and the group's identity become the same. Anybody can simply look at us and identify that this person belongs to that group. So that is the level of which is called identification influence. Then we have the factors that affect group influence. Now the factors that affect group influence factors means the things that if we increase them or decrease them, then they will increase the group's effect on individuals' consumption pattern. First, the question is, why do we need to know these factors? We need to know these factors because they are like controls for us. They are like when you increase the control in something, then you can understand, then you can actually control the group's influence on people, and you will be controlling their purchasing as well. So we want that. We want, as marketers, we want more control on people's purchasing. So we would want that control with the help of some factors. If we don't have those factors in hand, or we can identify them, then we can control the effect on individual purchasing patterns. That's why we need to know this. So the first factor that influences group influence is visibility. Visibility of the product. We have to understand that any individual is influenced by the group to buy something or to use something, then that product will be visible to that group. If it's not visible to that group or it's not visible to public, there is no need, there is no sense of adopting that product. For example, if I like a particular football team, then I wear that shirt which says Arsenal, and I wear that shirt and I go with that to any place that also has some football camp. But I will not wear it to the university just because I like Arsenal, or I will not wear it to my to a masjid or any such place. It means that I will use it when the visibility of that product will be there for the group or for the relevant public. So the visibility is important. Just like that, if I ask you that what are the brand names of shoes, let's say if I ask you to name some brand names of shoes, so what will you say? What will be your answer? Nike, good.
नाइकी होगा, एडिडास होगा, ज्यादातर तो यही ब्रांड आते हैं।
Good. So we have some names: Nike, Adidas, Urban Soul, Bata, Service. We have these names, right? Now, if I ask you, please give me some names of some brand names, globally known brand names of socks. You won't be able to name any of those socks brand names because socks are not visible.
Adidas,
Puma? Visible. People do not buy Adidas socks because they are branded by Adidas. They would buy it for the comfort of it or the quality of that product, but not because the socks are branded. So
Puma?
Yeah, even Puma or any other brand. Sock brands do not matter as much as shoe brands do. Even sometimes people wear socks that are torn inside and it still doesn't matter. But if their shoes are torn, their shoes have a hole in them, that matters. So the visibility of the product matters a lot when we are considering other people. It matters a lot. If we have asked somebody to come over for dinner, the crockery that we use matters because that person is going to see that crockery when they are going to have the food. They are going to see the cutlery when they are having the food. They are going to see the table and the chairs and the things around it. But they are not going to see what brand of salt you used while cooking the food, or the cooking oil you used while cooking the food. So the cooking oil you use is not visible to the public. The salt is not. The spices are not. So they cannot be influenced by the group. They are not easy to be influenced by the group. It's possible, but not easy to influence as much as visible products. So if you want to have an impact on the individual consumption of anything, you first have to see if it's visible to the people or not, and if the visibility can be increased as well. Next, sorry, अजान हो रही है। शोर हो रहा है कहीं पर, म्यूट करने पड़ेंगे। Let's stop for अजान। मेरे पास तो हो रही है अभी, तुम्हें इसलिए रुका।
हमारे साथ तक कंटिन्यू करते एज पर द ब्रेक,
उसके बाद भी कंटिन्यू करेंगे जब तक हमारा टाइम हो जाता है पूरा। एक सेशन हमें पूरा करना है।
ओके।
around 7:30 उसी कुछ होगा.
ओके सर. सर ये रिकॉर्डिंग तो अपलोड होगी ना यूट्यूब के ऊपर इसकी?
जी जी बिल्कुल. अच्छा
हेलो सर, कितने दिन का ब्रेक है?
हो गया ब्रेक खत्म.
हो गया? अजान का था
हाँ
तो नमाज पढ़ लें आप जाइए, मैंने थोड़ी रोकेंगे. सर रिकॉर्डिंग हो रही है ना आपकी इसकी सर?
हाँ ठीक है. So let's continue. If you have any, अगर आप if you have some videos on, please put them on off so that better. Okay. So we are talking about this. I'll just write if you have and you hear me, let me know.
सर आवाज तो आ रही है आपकी, आई कैन हियर यू.
Okay, great. So we are talking about the group influence, and the next factor in group influence that influences the purchasing patterns of an individual is the necessity of that product. Which means that is the product a luxury item or a necessity item? If it's a necessity item, then it's less likely that a person would be influenced by the group in that thing, because things that are there for our necessity, we actually consider their functionality as more important. We have the unique product as more important than the more important than uh, what we can say, the image of the brand, or the emotional value of that brand. So whenever we are talking about necessity, for example, rice or sugar or things that we usually use in our home on a regular basis, without which we cannot live. Our plain clothing that we use at night, our nightgowns are less likely to be influenced by groups than our things, our dresses that we wear at occasions. They are very likely to be influenced by groups because they are luxury items. So luxury items like they include typical examples can be a car. A car is both can be a luxury and it's also very visible. So it is very much influenced by this thing. The mobile phone that we use, if you are using it as a luxury, which means that you are not just using it for the basic purposes, then the group influence has an impact on it. But if you are only using it for the basic necessity, then it doesn't matter what brand it is. And if your group is, if it is coherent with your, cohesive with your group's preferences. So necessity is important thing. And then we have the next point. This is the individual purchase confidence. Individual purchase confidence means that we have some confidence about things that we buy on. For example, when you are first going to buy your cell phone for the first time in your life, what was the way that you did it? You first would have gone to um, first you would have gone to a friend and you would have asked that friend that what mobile should I use? What mobile do you use? Have you seen any reviews by other people? Even if you buy, if somebody buys a mobile phone today in this era, they will first go to websites and see some forums in which there is a discussion about what mobile is good, which is bad, what has some problems, what is going on in those brands, which brand is better, which has better resale, all of those things. And additional to that, what should a mobile phone have? Is 8 megapixel or 13 megapixel or 20 megapixel camera, good camera in a mobile phone or not? How do I know? So those experiences, actually build your confidence. So next time when you are buying something, you already know what things to consider in that mobile phone. You know that I have to check the camera, you know that I have to check the connectivity, you know I have to check this and that, what downloads it has, how robust it feels in the hand. All of those things, you have more confidence when you are buying it. But this doesn't happen with every product. If I ask you to buy an electric motor that takes your water from the underground tank um, to your overhead tank, that motor is not usually replaced once in a while, and that motor has brand that probably you would not know about. So if your motor has been burned down and you would like to buy a new motor, you would probably contact your plumber or electrician and ask them which brand I should buy. Their opinion will matter to you. So these kinds of things, when this happens, then it means that you have less purchase confidence in buying that thing. So we have less purchase confidence in buying things that we do not know about, as compared to things that we have already experienced and we know from end to end. So the lower the purchase, the higher opportunity that you will refer to a group. So you see that in the pharma industry, it's very important that whenever such product is offered to customer, for example, supplement is being sold, so the company says you should refer to a consultant. You should not take payment on your own. You should not do this because it's harmful for you. They are actually reduce your self-confidence in buying the individual purchase confidence. They are trying you some consultants, they will influence you. So that's how it works. As you have a group of people who influence a larger public about supplements. Okay. So that's how it works. Okay, let me see. There's some noise here. Who is making? If the sound, you mute your video for a while, audio for a while because it's making noise.
Assalamualaikum sir. Bismillah.
Iktisam, can you switch off your audio? It has a lot of noise. Okay, so we're back, and yeah. So these were three mm, variables that influence the group influence. Influence the group and that have an impact on group influence. And the next is how basically involvement in the group function, or the relevance of the group function, we can say. The relevance of the group function to what the product is about. What I mean relevance to the group function, when I say the word function, it means that every group has a function. If it's a group that wants to, that likes to play cricket together, then cricket is that function. If you are taking this course online together or in the class together, your function is related to consumer behavior, studies of consumer behavior or studies of marketing. So that's the group function. If there is an information related to this course, then you are likely to share it with others and others are likely to refer to you about it. But if in the same group you share something like, even if something like which PFL team was the best, so that information is not going to influence anybody. Rather than that will be considered weird to be shared in a group of consumer behavior, because that is not relevant to the group. And even if they are your friends, they are very close to you, but still, if the relevance is out, for example, you might have some friends or maybe cousins maybe who are not close to you. But if they ask you about some wedding that's coming up in your, and what are you going to do in that wedding? So you would find it very normal to discuss that wedding. But if somebody really close to you is in your office, you meet that person daily. That person is very close to you. But that person asks you about what you are going to do in the wedding. Less likely that you are going to talk about that wedding because that's not relevant. So the relevance of the group matters a lot, and that's why when we are designing these groups, we have to understand that this content has to be relevant to the group function. And then we have another variable that impacts the group function, and that is how much the group is how much you are as an individual, how much you are committed to that group. How much you are committed to that group. Which means that if a person is really committed to that, if a person looks up information shared by that group daily or regularly, that person is more likely to be influenced by the things in the group. This goes for very much for political and religious and other kinds of groups in which people are, some people are more committed to the group than others. We see that those people who are politically very active, they are active on social media, they will buy those things that are related to the merchandise of that party. They will go to every event that happens. They will try to convince others to vote for the same party. They are very much in, and they all that impact their own consumption as well. and the consumption of the people around them. So this is what these are the 5 factors that influence how the group has an impact on individual purchase patterns or individual consumption patterns or the things simply that we buy. The next topic in group influence is something that we call opinion leaders. Now, what are opinion leaders? The word first, the word comes here, opinion. So, what's an opinion? Opinion is anyone's own judgment about anything. My opinion about, I can say, the opinion has some critical analysis, some words that describe that thing, and also has an emotion. For example, I say, what is a university? A university is a comprehensive learning space where people get together to learn and build a social life. Now, these words have some specific description about a university. In my opinion, how I see it, doesn't matter if it's in contradiction with others, but it's my opinion. It might not be accurate, but it's still my opinion. So people have their opinions about how good or bad things are, how they work or don't work. You will see that these opinions have a variety, but whose opinion matters? That's the question. So there are people who we can call opinion leaders because people like to follow them, then follow their opinion. Their opinion drives the opinion of others, drives the action of others. So these opinion leaders, for example, we have that celebrity. I don't think the celebrity who became a billionaire very quickly. I think Kylie Jenner, I think. So that she became a celebrity by endorsing cosmetic brands and having a good following. So her opinion matters a lot to people, and people started following them. That's a great example of opinion leadership. But opinion leadership and celebrity endorsement are two different things. She became a celebrity after being an opinion leader. It doesn't mean that every celebrity endorsement is opinion leader. Opinion leader means somebody you know, somebody you can talk to, somebody you see. That person is an opinion leader because their opinion matters to you because you know that person. Celebrity endorsement is another thing because you admire that celebrity, you are influenced by their opinion. But opinion leaders means those people who are your friends or in your social circle or you know that person from somewhere and their opinions have an impact on you. So they are called opinion leaders. So how do these opinion leaders work and how do we know who is opinion leader? So from the marketer's perspective, let's see if we can strategize, we can understand the strategy of these people. So let's say we have a restaurant that wants to push its new customers, who wants new customer base. So what it does is it goes to social media, Facebook, and it identifies many people who go to these. Okay.
सर फॉर एवरीवन ये इसकी रिकॉर्डिंग अवेलेबल होगी यूट्यूब के ऊपर, तो जिसको जो आवाज आ रही है अभी सिर्फ वो सुन लें, बाद में सब रिकॉर्डिंग के बाद के थ्रू सुन लीजिएगा जो भी होगा लेक्चर के थ्रू।
थैंक यू। ठीक है, सब लोगों ने सुन लिया, बाद में रिकॉर्डिंग मिल जाएगी, तो अभी जितना सुन सकते हैं सुन लीजिए। Okay. अच्छा, तो वो restaurant, that restaurant owner actually first identifies the people in that specific city or town or area, and that identifies people who are interested in going to restaurant. So that person identifies 20 people who go to restaurant daily. They have regular sections in the Facebook. They have a large social circle. They post pictures of food and the restaurants and other things from there. So they do that regularly. And when they do that, then they are likely to be opinion leaders. Opinion leaders are those people who are who either buy something regularly, frequently. The first thing is that they buy something regularly or frequently. They know about that product more than others. They have a large social circle, and just not that they have a large social circle, but they also are active in that social circle. People might have a large social circle, then they know a lot of people, but they are not active about it. So they have to be active about it, and they have to have knowledge of that product, and they have to be frequent or regular users of that product. If all three conditions are there, then they are likely to be opinion leaders. Their opinion will matter to other people. So if that restaurant owner goes for those 25 people, ask them that I would like to invite you to my restaurant. Please come over, have some food and talk about this on your page. So when that is done, then people are very likely to be influenced and go to the same restaurant. This kind of strategy is also employed by companies that are limited limited in marketing activities. For example, pharma industry or the tobacco industry. The tobacco industry is very limited in this sense that they are not allowed to advertise on the television or anywhere. They are not allowed to put banners outside. Outdoor media is not allowed. ATL communications are not allowed. Print media is not allowed. All kinds of ATL is not allowed. So they can only focus on point of sale, which means they can just put these banners and everything on the cigarette shop, the pawn shop, and all of these places. That's it. So what they do instead is that they...
Sorry, sir, I have a question.
Okay.
Sorry, a simple question.
Okay.
Where do we put these new breed which is called vloggers? Because I mean, either we call them celebrity, but I don't know if you should call them celebrity. Because they're also opinion makers, and people are basically the brands are going to them, and they are basically being their brand ambassadors, sort of. So where do we put them? They're not opinion makers.
They are not exactly opinion leaders, but because their opinion matters as information, not as personal reference. Not as personal reference. Personal reference means my friend refers a restaurant to me. My friend refers a product to me. That is different from seeing it online in a blog. So a blog is more of a review kind of thing that influences people. That also matters. But it's not a part of opinion leadership. Opinion leadership means that you have some people who are working for you and they engage their own social circle. Their opinion comes personally to them. So when I'm talking about this, for example, the tobacco industry, what they do is that they hire people to go to places. For example, if they know that a certain person smokes, then they will hire that person. They will give them money. Let's say they give them 10,000 rupees, and they say that you have to go to 10 places in Karachi, roam around, just have fun with your friends, and post your pictures about it. But when you are posting your pictures about it, be sure to make that cigarette pack visible in those photos, or take those photos while smoking, so that they become visible. Just like that, you can do the same for pharma. You can put those products. For example, you have a video shot by a person who that says that I have this problem and then I am using this product to heal myself and it works. So the regulatory authority cannot say that this is not allowed, because they are only saying that that advertising is not allowed by the media, but personal references, personal opinions can be shared anyway. So that's how they use opinion leadership to influence people. There is another word that is usually used along with opinion leadership, that is market mavens. Market mavens are a kind of opinion leader that knows about a lot of product categories. Now, opinion leaders are very specific for categories, which means that I am, for example, if I like to read books. So, if I like to read books, then my product category in opinion leadership will be books. If you know that I read books, then if you want to read a certain book, you might refer to me to ask if you have read this book and I should have read it. But you won't ask me about a movie, or you won't ask me about let's say a restaurant. So there might be other people who would refer to when you are considering a restaurant to go to. So so every person is an opinion leader in a different category. But market mavens are those people who are opinion leaders in many categories. Obviously, there can be no person who is an opinion leader in all categories, but they can be an opinion leaders in many categories. They buy a lot of stuff. They know about a lot of things because that's what they do. They like to do it. They like to buy clothes. They like to like new mobile phones. They like to buy new toys. They just like to do this. And these people become more, you can say, precious. They become more worthy for these marketers, because one person, by paying one person to put up a video, they are influencing many people behind them, and they can use the same person for multiple products. So these are called market mavens. This is how opinion leaders work. So summing it all up again, an opinion leader is a person who is likely to influence a large social circle personally, because when you are using personal word of mouth, it is much more effective than any advertisement that you see on the television or on anywhere else. So we use opinion leaders. That way, opinion leaders can be identified by these things, that they usually are frequent users or regular users of a product. Secondly, they have a large social circle and they are very active about it. They know about a particular product category or whatever is new in that product category, whatever is happening. They are updated and they have lots of knowledge about it. So these three conditions, if they are so, then they are likely to be opinion leaders, and therefore you can go to them, have a contract with them, unwritten contract or written contract, then they will help you to push your product forward. So this is possible, and this is how it's done. So we have opinion leaders.
Sir, I have a question.
Yes, please.
Alright, sir. Nowadays, you might have seen those challenges kind of a thing. Like that bottle cap which is twisted or turned so that it is straight, thrown up and down. So what about those things? Those things also nowadays are working a lot, means like influencing people to buy those products. So that also comes under that category?
Yes, it's possible to use them, but it's not typically a part of opinion leadership. They are more of following what we can say the crowd mentality. When you are using crowd mentality, it means that you first come up with a challenge. Interestingly, human beings are influenced by challenges a lot. The reason is that we are wired to complete things. We are not able to restrain ourselves from not completing things. So if you ask a person a simple question, even if it is as simple, a very simple question, if you ask them a simple riddle, and they will be very likely to know the answer, but they will still ask you if the answer is correct or not. They would like you to tell them. If you just leave it hanging, they will be troubled. So interestingly, if you just ask a question, people are very likely to answer that question. The same thing happens with challenges. You give them a challenge, they have to take it. They cannot refrain themselves from taking that challenge, because it just comes from inside us that we cannot just let things be. We cannot say that, okay, maybe I cannot do it. Let's not try. Anyway, it doesn't matter. No, we have to use it as a challenge, or we have to complete that. That's why these challenges work, and people start to follow them. And when people start to follow them, then others also follow them. Some people follow just because they want to try it, and some people follow them because they want to show others that they are not behind. And in this process, the product becomes popular. So it's a good way to do it, to use the crowd for you. Not really part of opinion leadership, but yes, on a larger scale, yes, we can say that it's group influence in such a way that more of a crowd influence or crowd mentality. In the videos that I sent you guys before, is there a question?
Assalamualaikum, sir.
Assalamualaikum.
This is Safdar Ali, sir.
Ji. You have a question?
This is Safdar Ali, sir.
Yes, please go ahead.
जी सर, मैं ये रिक्वेस्ट करना चाह रहा था कि जो आज हमारा लेक्चर चल रहा है, इस हवाले से सर जो केस स्टडीज वीडियोस जो यूट्यूब पर सर डिफरेंट जो चैनल्स होते हैं एजुकेशन के, जैसे विवेक बिंद्रा है, एक ऐसा मोटिवेशनल स्पीकर है जो कि केस स्टडीज पर काम करता है। तो इस तरह की सर हमें अगर केस स्टडीज आप इसके साथ साथ अगर हमें प्रोवाइड कर दें तो ये क्या हमारे लिए बहुत हेल्पफुल होगा।
Okay, I'll do that. I'll give you some case studies as well. That's no issue. But first, it's important that you understand the theory and the examples and the application. Then you can go for case studies as well.
Sorry sir, I'm talking about videos, videos case studies.
I'll do that. I'll give you some videos as well. Whatever I have.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay. So next we have, I was talking about those videos, and there were some things that were in those videos. For example, there was the bystander effect. If you haven't seen that, please go see that. The bystander effect means that people are likely to buy a product, then buy a product or do anything, not buy a product, but do anything when they are alone. Then there is a responsibility of the group, then we are less likely to do it. So this actually goes with our rifle technique. If you don't know about the rifle technique, you should also search for that and learn it. The difference between the rifle technique and the shotgun. So just note that down and go and search for this. The rifle versus the shotgun. and you will understand that. Another thing in those videos was the ASH phenomena. ASH. ASH phenomena.
Sir, repeat again, rifle versus
shotgun. Rifle versus shotgun. Another phenomena is the ASH phenomena. The ASH phenomena means that people are likely to follow others in doing things, and they might even follow others just because others are doing it. So I think I sent you a video in which a person was just standing up for no reason when there was a certain sound. And that she didn't know the reason, but she did it because everybody else was doing it. So this is called herd behavior or group think or ASH phenomena. So it's a good way, it's an interesting way to invite people to do something. For example, you want people to buy a particular product in a particular restaurant. You want people to order steak. So you actually set up people who loudly say, who are sitting in a restaurant and they loudly say that, oh, this restaurant has the greatest thing, I'm going to order this one. And then another person says that this steak is so good. So slowly you will see that people around will try to order steak as well. I remember there was a student in English district, I think, who came to me, who worked there, and he asked me if there were some methods to increase sale for a new product that they had gone for, introduced in the market. So I gave him this idea, and he executed it, and it worked very well for him. The idea was simply this, that take some baskets in any mart or supermarket, and take some of those new packs of those biscuits. For example, it's a super biscuit introduced for the first time. So take some super biscuits and take some other products, 2 or 3 products, put them in a basket, and just leave them in the corridors everywhere. So whenever people will see them, people will think that somebody has taken these products and just left them here for a while. And when they will see that everybody is buying super biscuits, so there must be something happening. Something good must be there. This is a new product, must be so good, everybody is buying it. So we should try as well. And that worked and because there was a new product and people were hesitant to buy it, but this seeing it in different baskets and trolleys improved their confidence. It increased their confidence that we can also take this risk of buying this new product. So there are many applications of this group influence and how you can use it. So that's about it for group influence. I want to start our new topic, which is perception, and I have some videos and pictures for that as well. So we have some time. Let's go with that. Let's start it. It's a big topic, so we might have to keep it going for at least 3 sessions. It's a big topic, will require at least 3 sessions. Firstly, let's talk about perception. Everybody is clear about group influence so far? If there are any questions, you can ask now.
Yes, sir, it's clear.
Okay, great. So let's talk about perception. Okay. Perception. Now this word perception is interesting because the word itself is telling you have a perception about perception. If I ask you what perception is, everybody will have a different answer. and that's how we react to things, how we have an image of them, how we conceptualize them, how we define them. All of that is perception, and that depends on our senses, our previous experiences, our emotions, our current situation, many of those things, and that's why our perception is always changing. But we do have an overall perception of things in our mind, and they are different. Everybody has a different perception, but it doesn't mean that we do not have a collective perception. For example, if if I ask people in Islamabad that what is the right time to go to sleep. So if you ask people, 1,000 people in Islamabad, if you can find 1,000 people there. So if you ask them about when is the right time to go to sleep, they will probably have the average will be around 10 o'clock. If you ask Karachites what's the right time to sleep, they will probably give you an average of about 12. So these are collective perceptions. People in a certain city or a country may have collective perceptions about things along with their own. It doesn't mean that nobody in Karachi will give you the answer to be 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock. It doesn't mean that everybody in Islamabad will be saying the same thing. They might have some people who will say that 2 o'clock is the right time to go to sleep because they came from Karachi. So they might have a different opinion. And that's why we can say that perception is different for each individual. Now, why are we studying perception in the first place? That's a very important question. Why study perception? An important thing to talk about is this, that we have actually completed our external influence part till now. How externally we are influenced by things. And now we are going to study about the internal influence, which means perception is the first part of it. Internal influence means how the things inside us influence us to buy certain things. So perception is the first of that part. When we are talking about perception, we have to see that how it works, and we have to know why we are studying it. We are studying it because if we can look at perception, if we can control the perception of people, then we can also influence them. If we know how people perceive things, then we can also influence them. So we have to understand how people perceive whatever we are doing, whatever we are saying. We have to understand if we are talking about an advertisement, then we have to understand how people are going to perceive that advertisement. Are they going to like it or not? Are they going to share it or not? Are they going to be influenced by it or not? Maybe they will like it, but they will not have any action on it. That is also possible. So all of these things are influenced by perception, and that's why we need to understand what perception is, how it works, how do we perceive anything. So I'd like to first show you a video that will tell you that perception is different for different things. Let's look at this video. I think you will be able to see it.
So we can sorry.
You are seeing something weird. But how is this so? How is this possible? If you change the perspective, then you will understand.
So it's type of an illusion kind.
Yeah. But how is this possible?
So it's the way from where we are looking or where we are seeing from.
Yeah.
So from which end we are looking at.
The angle that you are seeing
Because the camera angle.
because of the camera angle. Yes.
It's actually the art of showing things the way.
So you see this, and then let's see another video that shows how we can use it in advertising. So get the idea, right?
Yes. Can you upload this video on Google Classroom sir? क्योंकि वो partly नजर आ रही थी, partly नहीं आ रही थी.
Okay, no problem. I'll do that. I'll put them and share that. So you get the idea that perception can be changed when we are just simply changing the angles of things or the look of things. And that changes our perception, that changes how we are looking at it. So very important to understand in this work. The first thing that we have to see about perception is that perception has three main stages, you can say. The first stage of perception is exposure of stimulus. So whenever stimulus is exposed to us, only then we are able to perceive it. So exposure of stimulus means that we have different senses, and exposure to those senses helps us to perceive things. For example, we can see light that is between 400 angstrom to 4,000 angstrom, I think. So that is the range of light that we can see, or we can hear 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz sound, not beyond that. You know that there is a thing that's called a dog whistle. A dog whistle is a whistle that is that only a dog can hear. We cannot hear it, a dog can hear it. So we have limited hearing, and that's why we have a range of things that we can perceive as sound. We can hear what's going on in the other room, but we cannot see what's going on in the other room. If there is a thing that we can see the sun, we cannot hear the sounds of the blasts that are going on in the sun. These different ways that we can perceive things. Just like that, exposure to our taste or smell can happen. We have to understand that there are only two senses that can be transmitted over long distances, which are the sound and the visual. What we see or which we can hear. We cannot smell over the internet. We cannot touch over the internet, or we cannot taste over the internet. However, this is something that you can do on your own. There's such a thing called haptography. You can search it, and it can help to feel things. If people are working on it, and maybe sometime in the future, you will be able to feel things on the internet. For example, you want to buy some jeans from Daraz, and you just click it, and you feel how that jeans feels like, and then you can buy it. In the future, maybe it's possible, but right now it's not. So we only have these few things that we can perceive. Okay. Achha. The first step is the stimulus getting exposed to us in the right place, in the right situation. If it's not in the right situation, it won't work. If it's a good situation, then it will have a much better impact. Let's take an example. If I want to advertise a fan, and a ceiling fan or a lower fan or any kind of pedestal fan, and I put the picture of that fan in the mid of the city, in a very thick, dense population, where there is lots of hot air, then people will not be able to actually appreciate the presence of that fan advertisement there. Instead, I would place it at the seashore, where there is a good cool summer breeze going on, and when then people see that advertisement, even though they know that the air is not coming from that fan, still the feeling of that air and seeing that fan will remain in their mind together. So the exposure of that stimulus in the right environment helps us to perceive that product better. The same thing can be done. For example, if I have to put the advertisement of a chewing gum, mint gum, then I can put it on the air conditioner, near an air conditioner in a mall. And when people go there, they feel cool, and when they look up, they see this chewing gum hanging there. And even though they know that it's not that chewing gum, still they will feel better about it. So this is kind of the right exposure helps us to create the right perception. So it's very important to see if we are exposing our stimulus in the right manner. That is the first thing that we need to do. When we are talking about this, we have to understand that exposure of this stimulus has to be in across a large distance as well. So we use how do we do that? We use medium, any medium. Medium is just a way to expose our stimulus. Now we use the television to expose our stimulus. When we use television, we use a screen to give our message across with the help of videos or images. And when people see see those advertisements, they are influenced to buy things. So we use television because it goes across to a large number of people. We could have just used the old town crier method and go along on a thela and sell those things, but we would not even reach 500 people in a day. Now, if that works for a vegetable seller who is a town crier who just who shouts out loud about the vegetables that person is selling, and because it works for him because he has only a few kilos of vegetable to sell. But it won't work for a grocer's market like a big vegetable seller who wants to sell tons of vegetables or meat or anything. They would likely go for a larger exposure of their stimulus. So they will use the print medium, which means the newspapers or the magazines or any other thing. Or they will use the television, or they will use the radio, or they will use some digital medium like SMS or website or Facebook to get their message across. So the reason we use these medium is to have a better influence, better exposure of stimulus. Another important thing in the study of exposure is the measure. So we measure exposure and we measure exposure by different medium. Example, in television, the exposure is measured by rating. Television ratings tell us which channel has more audience, which channel has more viewership, and when you advertise there, then it's likely that more people will be exposed to your service. So the television ratings, or the GRPs or TRPs, we call them, target rating points or the gross rating points, that tell us which channel has more viewership and we should advertise there. Obviously, there are costs associated with that, but at least we will have more exposure. For radio, we have the listenership. For newspapers and magazines, we have circulation. For websites, we have visits. For Facebook, we have reactions like likes or comments or shares. For other mediums, we have other ways to calculate the exposure. So we have to understand, for outdoor medium, we have traffic, which means how much traffic, how much people go across a certain street or a road every day. That's the practice. And the more people travel on those roads, the higher price of that billboard would be. We have to see how this thing works, and we have to see how exposure is measured, how this thing works. Let's talk about this part and our videos here. Exposure, there is a problem in exposure. When we are talking about exposure, we have to understand that people naturally do not want to process information. Why do people not want to process information? They don't want to process information because it strains their mind. Simply. The more information we have, the more strain there is on our mind. So naturally we want less strain. And when we want less strain, we want to process less information. For less information, we want to reduce our exposure to stimulus naturally. So when we are doing that, then people will be likely to resist our efforts to give them more information, to expose them to more stimulus. That's why when they are watching television, what they do is that they avoid watching advertisements. You see that there are three ways that people avoid watching television. When they are not watching content, which means the dramas or the sports or whatever is going on, that's the content. When they are not watching that, then they avoid everything else. How do they do it? The first method is muting. When the drama or any other thing ends and the advertisement starts, we mute the channel so that we don't hear the things that are coming up. We don't hear the advertisement. Or we lower the volume. Now, the solution to lowering the volume is very simple, that the channels inherently increase the volume of the advertisement. So even if we lower the volume, we still hear the advertisement. That's a way to get over that. Another thing that we do when we are watching television is that we zip through the channel. That's called zipping. Zipping means that you start with a particular channel number. Let's say you start with 7. Usually we start with 7 and leave the first one behind. And then we start with 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 till we go to about 50 or 60, and then we leave those channels, and then we see if there is anything good going on. And then if there is nothing going on, we go back to number 7 and start all over again. That's called zipping. Another process is called zapping, in which we know what we really want to watch. There are certain channels, for example, movie channels. You know that your movie channels are on 20 and 33 and 56, and you just zap between those channels to see which movie or drama you want to watch. That's called zapping. So the way to reduce the effect of zipping is that there is something called road blocking. Road blocking is a phenomena in which you know that there are certain frequencies associated with every channel. So, for example, there is a channel on channel number 20. There is ARY for channel number 21. You have Geo, and then on channel number 22 you have Hum TV. So when you are zipping, you are going from ARY to Geo and Hum TV. And this the people who are designing this whole, the media buying houses know that this is the sequence. So what they'll do is that they'll put up an advertisement on ARY, let's say at 7 o'clock and 5 minutes and 0 seconds. So and the same advertisement will appear on Geo TV, then the next channel 21 at 7 o'clock 5 minutes and 5 seconds. So if you are watching an advertisement and you think, oh, there is an advertisement, let's move on to the next one. So as soon as you move to the next one, the advertisement starts again. and then when you move again, it starts on hum TV 5 seconds later. So you are actually blocked. You are forced to see that advertisement. That's called road blocking. A very good technique if you want to make sure that people are going to watch your advertisement. But very expensive because you have to advertise, you have to pay for the advertisement at the same time to many channels. And even if that person, one person is watching that advertisement, still you are paying 3 or 4 times to make that person watch that advertisement. So it's a very expensive but very effective as well. So road blocking and
explain the last one. Can you explain the last one?
Road blocking?
Yes.
Road blocking is that we have the same advertisement being run on different television channels that are in sequence. So when you are moving from one channel to another, then the same advertisement starts all over again because they are planned to be placed with a 5-second or 3-second difference. As soon as you zip from one channel to the another, the same advertisement starts on another channel. So you are blocked and you are forced to see it again. Usually works with those cable channels because the cable channel knows that what sequence it is, and so it's very easy for them to do this road blocking. You can see it all the time there. So that's how.
Sir, an example of the way Coke Studio did, even though that was a program, but it was a program sponsored by a brand.
Yeah.
So they were showing the program on every channel at the same time.
At the same time. So even if you change it, you will still get to see it. And sometimes what they did is that they planned it just after another program. For example, if it's on at 7 o'clock, then it will be on at 8 o'clock in another channel. So you get to see it again if you move to another channel. That's also a technique. So these techniques are used to ensure the exposure is there. Yes, please.
There is another method I just saw it last week only. There was a news channel, Wasim Badani was posting it, and a person came and he presented him with a 7-up bracket. So he said that that's very refreshing and all that. So people are nowadays thinking of methods and not even advertising it, but using it within the program so people can watch it. And
that's called product placement, and that's used all over the world, everywhere. In Pakistan, it's also used quite frequently. Intelligent way of using it is that people don't really see it as something on the face, something that's very obvious. If you say that this is good, then we will do that. If it's good, if it shows that we are actually doing it, then people will be sensitive towards it and they will see that they are actually trying to sell that product. You do it in a subtle way that people don't really know if there was a product being sold there. That's how we do it. So that's about it for today. We've completed our session, and next time we will be talking about the next part of perception. I'll be sending you some more videos on it. So do watch them, and then if you have any questions, we can have the questions in the next session next Tuesday. Till then, Allah Hafiz, and stay home and stay safe. And let's
Thank you, sir.
have any
Just one thing, perception के ऊपर. There is a book. If I don't know if everybody has heard about this book. It's called The Prince by Niccolo Machiavelli. Even though that book is about politics, but he talks about perception in a great detail in that book.
Okay.
And I'm putting a link here.
Okay.
You can find a PDF book. You can download that PDF book, and it's not a very big book. It's a very small book.
Okay.
If anybody wants to listen or read that book, they can go ahead and read it.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
Sir, can I ask a question?
Yeah, please go ahead.
सर परसेप्शन के अंदर यस आपने वीडियो बताई थी हमें इन विच भी आपने बताया कि द थिंग्स दैट आर शोन टू अस इन अ वे दैट पीपल वांट अस टू ओके तो उससे हमें परसेप्शन बनाने के लिए एक्सपोजर मिल रहा था उससे ठीक है तो उसके अंदर एक्सपोजर का स्टिमुलस वो कंफ्यूजिंग हो रहा था मुझे थोड़ा कि एक्सपोजर उसमें क्या हो रहा है क्योंकि अभी अगर कोई कंपनी इस तरीके से रखी है अपना प्रोडक्ट इस तरीके से रखी है कोई कंपनी तो उसके लिए कंफ्यूजिंग हो रहा था मुझे कि परसेप्शन बनाने के लिए एक्सपोजर दे रहे हो थोड़ा जी समझ
exposure means whatever thing that you are communicating has to be in the right place. That's called exposure. If you are talking about chewing gum candy, then you should be putting that stimulus on the right place, which means you should put it in physically in school or on the television in Cartoon Network. It's called using in the right place. If you put it in the wrong place, if you put the billboard on Shara Castle and put it on the news channels in the television, then and on Express Tribune in the on the digital medium, then it won't have any sense. That is what I mean by putting in the right place.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that's about it.
Okay.
If there are any questions, you can still ask me on Google Class.
Sir, I have a question.
Yeah.
Sir, I have a question. Sir, we have seen a lot of advertisement. Like one of the things that comes in my mind is related to the gold is packet. Although they are selling their product, but over there is a picture of affected mouth with the cancer. So, what kind of perception they are intended to create with such packaging?
They are actually forced to do that. It's a government regulation that you have to put this on the packet. It's not their choice of doing it. It's forced to them by the government to tell people that this.
Okay, so isn't it affecting the behavior of the consumer regarding to purchase it? Something like.
But there is a lot of research about it. If it does include them or not, there is a lot of research on both sides. Some people they say that it doesn't affect them. Some people say that it does. There is a lot of controversy on that. But still, the point is that it's a government regulation that they have to put that picture on the product. It's not their choice. Okay. Do you have these questions about the assignments? I will.
Okay.
I will
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Now we are done here. Let's and I'll see you on next Tuesday. Thank you.